We are really happy to have Tudor here today. He's a real experienced person in using AX Semantics because he's doing all the automated product descriptions at SkatePro from Denmark.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tudor, as Sam and Heike already introduced me, and I'm working in the marketing department at SkatePro, generating text for our products. I'm here to tell you a bit about how we use automated product text generation in real-life context, and also how we managed to achieve this great jump between 15% automation to 55% in only 3.5 months. Over time, we have entered more and more markets, and today we managed to target 25 different markets in Europe and North America here at SkatePro. We localize our e-commerce website to each of these markets, and to do this, we operate within 17 languages. It takes quite a lot of resource to support so many languages and to keep a high quality in our communication with our customers. This is why we are constantly looking for ways to automate and organize and also optimize the support of so many languages. So in February 2020, I started working on the first category, which is inline skates. As you can see here, I put a photo from each category that I managed to cover by myself. I was the only one working full-time on the project, and I was the one doing the research for each category, arranging the data, building AX frameworks, writing the statements, implementing them, all the shebang. Also, I knew nothing about AX when I started, or how to build the logic. I had no programmer, developer knowledge, nada. I only had a lot of product knowledge, and that was all. So I needed also to learn the platform and how to best work with it. I got a bit of help, and I had my texts reviewed by a copywriter, and I had 17 freelancers translating the text. So in this space, I managed to cover 14 categories, 1,200 products, which meant around 16% automation out of all products. But all of this took 1.5 years to do, which is not that bad considering all the work that was put there, but we wanted to accelerate the process and get more out of what AX Semantics actually has to offer. At the moment, this is where we are. As I said, each photo represents each category that we are covering with AX Semantics. So you can see that we are now 4 people in the team. That means 4 full-time people invested in this project, 17 in-house translators, and we managed to cover 60 categories, 4,200 products, which sums up to 55% automation. And all of this was done in just 3.5 months. Now, probably you are asking yourself what I'm asking myself all the time when I see a guy doing a cool trick on a snowboard on the internet or something. And the question is, how did they do it? Well, first and foremost, the most important thing was the manpower and the ability to have them work together in this project and coordinate by themselves. As you can see, the team right now is made out of 2 copywriters that are working full-time on this, 5 people in the research team that are working part-time, 17 translators also part-time on this, 2 AX experts, out of which 1 is me and then my colleague, that we are full-time on it, and 5 category experts that are also part-time. The reason why I say full-time and part-time, you're going to understand a bit later. The main team is formed from the full-time people, which is the copywriters, the 2 copywriters, and the AX trainee, sort of Robin to my Batman, so to say. The AX trainee was taught all there is to know about how AX works, and also all the things she needs to know regarding the link between our platform, where the website is working on, and AX Semantics. Whereas the 2 copywriters were only taught the basics of AX and of the internal system, so that they have an understanding of how the text should be structured and implemented afterwards. I wanted this team of 3 to be able to help each other and even do each other's tasks in case one of them is on holiday, sick, or gets pulled out of the project. Those things happen in big teams like that. And this is very, very important, to have more people that can do a task. At least it was for us, so that not everything relies on just one person, so that you know that the wheels will keep running if one of them is, or if one of us is off. The rest of the team, the ones that I said that they were part-time on this project, they actually have other tasks as their main task. So they were not full-time on the project, but whenever there was an AX Semantics task ready for them, they made that a priority on top of everything else they had to do. Now we move over to the automation path of glory, as I like to call it, which is the process that we followed that brought us to the best results we could get in terms of accurate product description. I want to show you this framework and this way to work, because maybe you could use it yourselves in your projects. At least for us, it was the perfect way to verify everything and to make sure we get the best thing out of our text. We had 3 main teams: research, copywriting, and implementation team. And the way it was working is that everything was starting in the research team, where they needed to research each category. They needed to research the specifications, which is if the bike is made out of aluminum, titanium, everything, and the technologies attributed to it, as you have technologies for snowboarding, gear, skis, etc., etc., and find information about it, either information that already existing on our website or information that was out there on the manufacturer's page. Then when they were done with this, they were sending it over to the category experts we had in our company that were reviewing this research. So they were going through all those points found by the research team, and they were approving if it was accurate information, if it was worth saying anything about it. And the reason why we use those category experts, it's because we have so many categories and so many products that one person cannot be an expert in all of them. Therefore, it was easier to have the research team without that much experience in all of the categories do the research, and then just have the people who already know in depth their category just do a fast run through it. When the category experts were done with it, with the text and the framework, it was sent to the copywriting team. Now, the copywriting team had the task to make sure that the text is okay copywriting wise, so we don't copy paste the same text on other websites, on the manufacturer website more precisely, and to create a structure that is easy for the translators afterwards, but also that fits our implementation strategy into the AX framework, which I'm going to show you a bit later. Once they were done with this, then it was mine and my colleagues' task to create the AX framework, which meant creating all the logic behind and adding the statements that the copywriter did. Everything was done in English. So this framework and everything and all the research, it was done in English. So we use English as the basic language for all of this. Going back, when we were done with creating the AX framework, we would move into the review and translation part, which meant reviewing how the text looks online. So not just statement by statement, but how it looks as a whole text, and making optimizations based on that. And afterwards, when everything was done, send those English statements for the translators. And the last stage was implementing translations. Now, when the translators were ready, we would implement them into AX, generate the text, and send them links to check the text already done, because sometimes there will be some small tweaks that they will need to do. So they will review it, send us the review, and then we would implement the new changes. And only then the product or the text would be ready to be live online. So this was the path that we followed, the process that we had, and the people that we had behind all this process. Now, I also have for you some key learning points out of this whole thing, especially what I learned by myself in 1.5 years working with it, and also working with a huge team this 3.5 months. First and foremost, have a clear framework where each team can see each other's task, so they can adjust to each other. So for example, when the researcher finished the task he can tick the finish box, like just mark, I'm done. So category manager knows, okay, this category is ready for me to review. Once the category manager was done, he would take his finish button, then translator can start its work, and so on and so forth. It's like a spinning wheel going through all the categories that we needed to cover. This made it very easy for me to manage such a big team, because I moved from having one person team, which was myself, and that's quite easy to manage sometimes, to having a 30+ people team. And for all of this, we used Google Sheets as our main framework platform. Everyone on the team had access to the sheet and could see what tasks are left to be done and for them, so that they can start right away. I keep saying that after AX, the biggest help were Google Sheets. So I have here AX Semantics that helped us a lot, and then Google Sheets. We had everything there, translation tasks, frameworks, everything. And it was also very easy to track and automate the process, so we see if we are ahead or behind the schedule. I'm not saying that this is the only way to do it, but for us, it was very easy this way, since all people involved in the project were accustomed with Sheets, since they were working with it in other projects, and they did not need to be bothered to learn how to work in other programs such as Trello or Asana. So this worked for us pretty good. The next important feature, and this is what I talked before with what the copywriting team is preparing, the framework and everything. This is what helped us handle 17 languages without actually knowing all of them. Due to our easy to understand and implement templates that we have here, we managed to handle all those languages using English as our reference language and relying on our in-house translators to translate and proofread the text in their mother language. So the implementation can be easily done by myself or my team without knowing a single word in that language, which makes actually training and building a big team very easy in this way. You can see down here that there are some small brackets like brand, product name, price levels, key boot type that we usually use as either branches or as variants in the text. It was very important for us to have this clear delimitation, because this showed the translator what was our train of thought and what should be in all those boxes, because each language is different from one another. So that means that the structure that I have in English is almost never the same in other languages. So I want to know where they put the brand, where they put the product name, where are all those things in the sentence, so that I can adjust to their translation without actually knowing the language itself. And this helped us to understand the language and implement it. And it also helped the translators give us feedback on what is missing, what needs to be added. For example, in Russia, you might have some different articles that you need to use. So then we would create a special lookup table for that specific language, and so on and so forth. This was super important for us. The next point and key learning is that not everything is worth automating. We have now automated 55% of our products on our website, which is around 60 categories. And we calculated that we can automate around 13% more, which is spread throughout actually 130 categories with product ranges between 1 to 30 products per category. Each category takes a lot of time to research and to set up, and often categories with only 10 products take the same amount of time as categories with 100 products. Therefore, we decided that it would be too costly to automate this 13%, and it is better to improve and update the 60 project categories that we already have. And I'm going to show you about these improvements and updates in a few slides later. As I said, some categories cannot be automated, at least in our case. And that's because there are some categories as miscellaneous or accessories that have unknown products added to it. Unknown in the sense that you would never know what can come into that category. You could have today stickers, screwdrivers, and bolts, and an iron for waxing your skis. And tomorrow you have 10 other products like a cap or a mug or something like that. So it's too much of a chaos to automate something like that, since you can never predict what can come into that category. The second type of categories that we cannot automate is the categories that do not have enough data for us to manage to implement these automations. As you can see, this product here has only the weight for it, which is something very obvious that it's not really worth writing about, because it's something that is there. It's like writing the text about a bike has 2 wheels, you know. The next thing that was important, and actually we discovered it a bit too late into our process, but we still managed to get to it, was implementing warning messages when people, I like to call they mess with AX. We implemented these internal warnings in our system when people work with data related to AX, so that they are aware when they add new data, delete data, or change the existing data. Because there are a lot of people that work with this data that we use. There is the product team that every day they add new products to the website, they add new specifications. Also the purchase team that sometimes adds some new products or modifies the existing ones. And we spend a lot of time cleaning this data, and we still do at the moment. Since the data initially, when we started the AX project, was not thought through with the purpose to be used for a software such as AX. So it was working for our website perfectly. But if you dig deep into it, it wasn't that clean, so to say. So as an example, you could find that we have a specification called liner features that had values for inline skates, snowboard boots, ski boots, ice skates, hockey skates, making it a bit messy, having all those values under one big category. So we want to keep all those things clean, and we spend so much time doing this that those warning messages come as an email for me and my team whenever someone does something to all this data. So we are always up to date to any changes made, and if anything can disrupt our process. Lastly, we talk about the improvements and the upgrades that we are making based on the upper points. At the moment, we are working on improving the projects that we first started with. So as we are now inline skates that I started 2 years ago. And as you can see here, you have the difference between the text before improvements. This is the German text of the exact same product, and the text after the improvements as we are doing now. The text before was very good. It had plenty of insights and of data for the customer, but we knew we could squeeze even more because a lot of the things upgraded, a lot of the things were added to those products, and we had access to even more data. Hence, we want to have as much data for the customer and to give him as much information as we could possibly provide. So that's what we are doing at the moment. We are starting again from the first project and starting to improve, as I call it, the AX 2.0 stage. And after this, maybe, hopefully, we will try to look into the rest of the stuff that can be automated and hopefully make it to 60%. Yes, I want to end this by reminding you that everything that I presented today can be done by either one person or a whole army, as we call it. It just depends how fast you want to move with your project and how complex it is. But nevertheless, in my experience, AX provides the right platform to work either as a single individual or as a whole team. It just is just up to you and up to your company strategy to do so. thank you very much. And if you have any questions, please shoot them this way.
Thank you, Tudor. A great presentation. Super insights you shared with us. Just a direct question from my side. To whom are you reporting in comparison to the, let's say, the head of logistics or the COO or head of operations, head of payments? What is the management awareness you're using to communicate your problems, your plans?
All those things, how to put it? I have my manager, which is the marketing manager, that I redirect all the big plans and all those things that are related to the big picture of the project. But all the small things or day-to-day tasks, that is me who is in charge of all of those. So I coordinate with the people in the company that are responsible to help us in different matters, as you say, logistics or purchase team or product team, etc., etc.
How often do you update your texts? A first question from our attendees.
It depends what you mean by the update, but we have an internal system, our developers did it, that each text or each category gets regenerated every 3 days, I think. So if there are any changes made in the data or any updates made to product, then our system automatically regenerates those projects and those categories every 2 to 3 days.
And obviously, the next question is a question from an insider. Sorry, I just have to find it once again. There is it. Are you generating your content via the NLG cockpit or via the API? How is the connections between the websites and the NLG cockpit?
Oh, that's a good question.
You're already using the API, I think.
Yes, I think so. That is the part that my fellow developers, I think, are handling. But I think, yeah, it is the API. I think the data, yeah.
Okay. How long does it take to implement AX from the first call with AX to the first generated text in your shop? Yeah, hard to answer, I think, but tell the truth, Tudor, tell the truth. Nothing else but the truth.
I think I was introduced to AX in January 2020, so I think that's when the call started, maybe with between my company and AX Semantics. And it started with setting the bridge between our platform and your platform and testing that out. And I started at the beginning of February working on it and learning everything. And I think I generated the first text after a month. So I think the inline skates project was done in a month and a bit. But that was just because it took me a bit to get into this whole rhythm and to learn to have a structure and what structure works and how to build everything in order to fit AX Semantics.
Okay, so you also created the processes around the AX in this month. Okay, yes. Perfect. The next question, and I think this is something, maybe we can share some hard numbers and some facts and figures from you. How does automated content affect SEO? Does it track keywords?
I'm not sure how it is with the tracking at the moment, because I know we just made this gap between 15% to 55%, and it ended now in December. And we still have a lot of text that has manually written text. So it's a bit hard to calculate which one comes from AX and which one comes from manually written text. But what we do and how AX helps a lot is that we are using the first 2 lines, the first 2 sentences of each text as our meta description. So in that way, we are making sure that with each text that we have, with each category, in the first 2 lines of text, there is all the keywords and all the SEO related information necessary in order for our product and our products in general to have a good score on Google, so to say. That is all I know at the moment, actually.
This is really good insight. Thanks for that. The next question. In what steps of the framework you presented, from research to implementation of translations, is AX involved? In all of them or in some of them?
Yes, I would say that AX is involved in the, I think starting from the creating the AX framework. So after the copywriters write their text, even though the copywriters need to have in the back of their head, they need to have how the framework is being made and how it should look. But we can already start actually implementing once the category managers approve the data, because we can at least structure the data and import the data by the time the copywriters write the text. So I would say AX starts around the end of stage 2 and is kept being used throughout all the remaining 4 stages. So super. 4 out of 6 stages, it's AX all the way, plus some extra stuff on the side.
Okay, perfect. Do you use your automated generated content text for email marketing as well, is the next question.
No, we do not use it for that, since we have already a different platform that we are using for emails that we also use for the ads and those things that we have on the on our website.
But maybe we can help with another question. What are your plans for the near future? What kind of content will you automate in the near future? Any plans at the moment?
I think in the near future, we will, as I said, we are working now on improving and upgrading the first project. It's mainly the 14 projects that I started with, because now we have such a better structure and way better way of working. So we can actually, the team can come and improve the work that I did initially. Afterwards, we're going to try to automate around 38 more categories, which hopefully will boost us to 60, maybe more than 60%. And the rest of it, we're just going to take it from there, because we're going to have a lot of work in it. We're going to add more languages, actually. We are opening in 5 new markets again. So we need to work with that as well. We need to do the maintenance of all those projects. And our team actually now went back to being super small, being just the 4 of us, because this was just a sprint, so to say. And now all the resources have gone back to other tasks. So now we're just working on improving, upgrading new projects and maintaining the existing ones, which is
telling this, it seems to be that you started with a kind of big test, and now you're improving and getting better and better with the process.
Definitely.
Okay, interesting.
Regarding the improvements, I have another additional question. What kind of improvements do you do? Is it like, do you measure it somehow, the effect of the text, and do you then improve it? Like, we should... yes, I don't know.
As I said, we have those warnings that we implemented on our website, right, and in our platform. So I know when people are adding, for example, let's take snowboard category. We worked on the data that we had last year, which were the technologies from whenever until last year. But this year we are getting new products. The new products have new technology, and all this data is being added again. So the improvements are being, at the same time, to be on the same page with the data that is being added. So all the time keeping it updated and being up to date with all that the product team, purchase team, logistics are adding to those products.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's the perfect moment, I'm just adding a question from our attendee. Are you already using AX metrics to measure your success?
No, as far as I know, we are not using AX metrics for that.
Well, Tudor, so we have to talk a little bit later, and I have to sell you AX metrics. Sorry for that, but I will call you.
Perfect, no problem. You know where to find me.
Sorry, the next question. At the beginning, you did mention a 2-year period. What happened during this period of 2 years? Is there a misunderstanding? Is it already 2 years, or is there?
It was one and a half year by myself, and yeah, almost 2 years with my minion army.
Okay, okay.
In that 1.5 year, it was just me doing what 30 people almost did in this team now. Okay, minus the translators. Yeah. But it was, as I said, me doing the research, the copywriting, verifying the quality of the text, doing the AX implementations, all the stuff. It was me doing it. So it was taking, I don't know if we managed to do 1 category in a week or less than that in the current format. It was taking for me around 3 to 4 weeks to do actually 1 category.
Perfect. I think that's clarifying the question, and good answer. One more question. You said you installed warning messages for changes on the data. Is that realized through AX directly or through another software? And are you really overlook every change there?
Yes. It's every change that happens in data, right? So it is within our own system. So it's our developers who actually implemented that if a change is made, so as I said, if a change is made, if someone deletes data or adds data to the data already that we are using, I get a message for that, because if someone changes the data, it means that the logic that I made is not going to be triggered anymore, because someone changed from inline skates to I don't know, rollerblades. And then my trigger that is for inline skates is not going to work anymore, and that's going to destroy the whole text. So I need to know every single change, and also know all those things, so that I can be on top of all problems that could arise before they actually happen. So yes, we are tracking every change in the data.
Okay. A question, and what is your opinion about how important is to have the products on hand to make the research? Is it important? Is it not too important?
Can you repeat the question, please? Sorry.
Sorry, once again, how important is to have the products on hand to make the research?
Meaning to have them online, right? Not physically.
Yeah.
It is quite important. You can still work with the products that are already online, and we were using that, but it also helped us out, the collaboration with the category experts, which are actually part of the purchase team, to know what they are about to purchase. So for example, if last year we had Salomon, had Burton, and I don't know, Rome as our brands that we are using, maybe next year we use only Burton and Rome. So, and we're not going to have collaboration with the other two anymore in the future. So then I know I don't need to put that much effort to handle all the other brands. I can just focus on the future brands and know yeah, where we should go. So it meant quite a lot to have the products already, or at least to know what you are about to have if you don't have the products already. I hope that answers it.
I think it will answer that. The next question, and there's still questions coming in. Sorry, Tudor.
No, I love them. Just keep them shooting.
Yeah. The next question. With all the experience you have with the process now, with the team, if you could start once again from scratch, what would you change? And thank you for the great presentation.
You're very welcome. Thank you for being here. I would change how the whole thing started. I think I wouldn't start it as a one-man army, and I would start it in this, I think the sweet spot where we are now, it's perfect, with 4 people in our team and me being actually slowly away transitioning. So I'm more on the coordinating role, because then we are 4 people who actually know the system and know what's happening in all those processes. Because before, if I was gone, everything was stopping. When I took 3 weeks holidays, nothing was done in 3 weeks because I was on holiday. But in this case, the wheels will keep turning, and every single time something will happen. Also, what was very nice was that we moved from freelance translators to in-house translators. And this meant that we could have, so to say, translations on demand. So for example, if I'm done with the translation now, I will just send the email, and then that person, because he's working, he will just drop what he has or finishes his task and start immediately with the translation and making his top priority. Whereas the freelancers were doing translations good, but not at a fast enough rate as we wanted to. So I guess that's what I would have done differently, because the structure and everything, that one you can learn, that one can be always adapted, upgraded, and so on, and that's not that hard to figure it out. The team, I think, is the most important.
Super. And a question, this is I think a good addition to the last one, from Jan. What are the key points to guarantee a successful multi-language text automation? The key points of the perfect, successful multi-language text automation. Woo!
I think
hard to summarize. I
try
think.
to say that 5 times. I think it's reviewing and over reviewing everything just to make sure everything is right. So it's not enough to just have, one time, okay, I write it, I put it there, that's it, probably it's good. That's why we use so many filters and have so many people filtering everything from, the incubator stage when we start with the research, and all the way until the end, where even the translators keep reviewing. It's not just the first stuff that they do, they review it again once more, then we again send the print screens to make sure it's really good, the implementations that we made, and so on and so forth. So checking, double checking, triple checking, it's never too much checking to make sure that you have the right stuff out there.
Super. The next interesting question is the automation used to optimize existing texts, like the example you showed us, or also for creating completely new texts?
It's used for both. We are actually using, when we started with AX, of course, we had a lot of products that were already online, but some of them didn't have that much text, even though they have a lot of data, because there were 2 people that were writing, 2 or 3 people that were writing product texts for all texts that we had on our website. So around 8,000 texts were written manually, right? So sometimes there wasn't all the information there. So we were also replacing those texts. If the AX generated text had more information, we would replace the old text with ours. But now, we are just replacing everything from zero. So if we have new projects coming in a category that we're already covering it, we just cover it from scratch.
Perfect. Well, a kudos from Greg via LinkedIn. Phenomenal presentation, really gets to the power of content automation to produce excellent output instantly. Great job, Tudor. The next question, sorry, we're still six questions ahead. So
it's okay. It's only Tuesday. We have plenty of time.
We'll sit here on Friday still. My colleague haven't had experience in coding and AX when she started as well. And now we have a functional system, but it could be made better, maybe easier. Would you recommend to rebuild it from the beginning as soon as you're more experienced with the software? Would you say you could have done better?
Definitely, and that's what we are doing now. That's part of the improvements, and on the upgrades, we don't just improve and upgrade the statements themselves. We also do what's on the back end before, because at the beginning, I was using what I thought I was right and doing my own thing. But if you see how, the backend or the transform part of AX, if you are accustomed with the AX framework, if you would see how it looks on my first project on inline skates, and on the last project that we did now, is just the first project is a lot of stuff going everywhere. Like the people in my team are constantly asking me, okay, Tudor, what did you think here building all of those things? Where does it lead to? And I was like, I don't know, but I think it would still work if you delete this, and that. I'm not saying that it doesn't work, but it could be done better and more efficient, especially when it comes to implementing other languages and so on. And it's not necessarily, I think, related to how much knowledge you have in terms of coding or so on. It's just the experience that you gain going more and more in depth with the program, that you find out that there are some tricks or something, like, as I said, as you can use the loops for some things, or as you can use some tables or something, just to ease up some of the stuff.
Okay, interesting. And to be honest, I would rebuild it too. Because it's always a job of optimization. And I think we have to rethink the content process. It's not a one-time kind of content. It's more a process in constantly improving the product descriptions. And if you're thinking from that point of view, I think it's clear to rebuild the project once again. It's not to be unfair. Build it.
Yeah, you don't need to reinvent the wheel, but it's good to try to make it more optimized, so to say, so easier for you or whoever comes afterwards and works on it.
Thank you so much. See you. Bye-bye.